Hi everybody, Laura West here, owner of Divine Lotus Healing. I am a Reiki Master Teacher and I'm an herbalist. I work with essential oils with a lot of my clients, and I'm also a spiritual counselor. I channel and I'm a psychic medium. The group of beings that I channel are called the Council of Light, and I've been channeling them for about 10 years. As many of you know, they have a lot of different messages on my blog. There's podcasts and there's written forms of things. Over the course of the 10 years, I've been doing a lot. And in this particular episode of our Spiritual Wellness Podcast, I'm doing something a little different. So I'm going to start to shape things in the way that I bring them to you in 3 parts, because I have a lot to say and I'm finding that I can't get it all in throughout the week. So the Spiritual Wellness Podcast still is going to contain the channeled messages from the Council of Light that you are used to hearing. They are going to come through in the beginning. And then I'm going to start to talk a little bit more about wellness, lifestyle living, and healthcare routines that can support you and your families. Because with my clients who come to see me for their classes and their sessions, they are interested in learning those things. So I thought I would open it up to the wider audience. And then I'm going to do that through the vehicle of most often essential oils, because those are the health products that I use a lot. And then at the end of that highlight of oils throughout the podcast that we're working on in that episode, I'm going to bring forward information around being a business person. I've been doing this business for about a decade, and I know the ins and outs of how to do the work efficiently and effectively, and I have lots of tips and tricks to share, and I do leadership mentoring with a lot of people in my realm who are small business owners or who are holistic healers and they're opening their own practices, or they already have their own practices and they want to go bigger. And so this is an opportunity for me to bring that knowledge into more of a public space and share it universally. So let's get started with today's channeled message. It's a snow day here where I live. I'm in the Boston metro area and there's beautiful snow outside. And it is also sort of sleeting, icy rain. So if you can hear the pinging of the ice drops on the windows around me, just take that as a meditation. For those of you watching this video, welcome. And for those of you listening to this as a podcast, welcome as well. I'm glad you're finding me and connecting in whatever ways make sense for you. So let's bring the Council of Light through. Greetings, everyone. We are glad you are here. We bring you bright, blessed blessings on this day full of cheer. For you see, this is an astrological interesting day for you all. There is a lunar eclipse, and there is a full moon, and there is what you call the blood moon or the wolf moon. And we are interested in speaking to you today about your energy and the frequencies that are at play. Many of you are being affected by the energetic shifts and the esoteric capacities that are changing on the earth plane related to your lunar pull and push. And you are unaware that you are being affected. So we will spell it out for you now. We want you to know that you need to be in a space of hibernation. You need to be in a space of self-care. You need to be in a space of being hunkered, being intimate, being connected to self at this time. It is not a time for you to be out on the main stage. It is not a time for you to be in the public eye. It is not a time for you to be responding to anything that is critical or critiquing in any way. You might be noticing that there are heightened energy capacities coming your way of intensity. Perhaps you've received some shocking news. Perhaps you've received some commands from your boss or from your workplace that are hard for you to hear. Perhaps you've had a tug and a push and a pull from your family environment. Take it all in and observe it, but do not respond. We wish to say that now, during this eclipse time, it is important for you to rest and to become centered and to meditate and to ground in your energy. Allow yourselves to become completely connected with self-source first, and then in a few days after the intensity of this energy of lunar eclipse during a full moon has shifted, you can come out of this cave-like structure and you can return to business as usual. Protect your energy at this time, not because anything negative or dire is going to happen to you if you don't, but because it is important for wellness care. Keep yourselves closed. Do not open yourselves wide like a book. Allow yourselves to remain sealed so that you are self-contained and you are working from your own centeredness. Bring yourselves back into harmony and alignment and balance and reground, retouch, regroup with yourselves in this way. It is a nice opportunity in the next day or two, or perhaps when you are hearing this message later on down the road. If you are hearing this message later on down the road, take it as a sign that this is something that is needed for you at this particular time, even if it is not a lunar eclipse or a full moon. It is a time right now for you to remain centered and balanced and connect with yourself. Practice loving acts of kindness for self, metta for self, graciousness for self. Meditate, pray, chant, and the like. Give yourself soothing teas and healing balms. Allow yourself to soak in a bath or at least a shower of luxurious nature of some kind. Give yourself the space to unwind and to sit on the couch or to sit in the chair and to rest and to read inspirational text that lifts you up and relaxes you at the same time. This is not a time for business work. This is not a time for going out and forging ahead and making waves. This is not a time for initiating new contracts and new initiatives with bosses and with employment and with work engagements. For it is an unstable time. It is a pressurizing time. There is a squeeze of energy on your plane. It is coming into you over and over again. And we say that you must take self-care. You must heed the message of self-reliance and introspection at this time. If you don't, and if you can't, that is fine too. Just know that it will be harder for you to navigate through what we have always called the pea soup energy of the earth plane. And so we wish to remind you that you can go forward with ease and with grace if you heed our advice in this place. And so that is our quick message for you today. We wish to say thank you for listening to us, and we are excited to come to you in this new way. We have come through the voice box of Laura West for many years in different capacities and in different formats. And we are eager to get started in a ritualized and regular routine in this new way. We welcome the listeners who have joined us here today, and we will come back again next week and speak to you at large. Namaste. So thank you for listening to that. That was really wonderful. And I have taken that to heed as a guidance in my own personal life. Yes, today I am doing some work from home, but I am cozy and I am in my space in my house with my family, and I'm doing domestic things, and I'm also taking some time to do some work as well. So in a slow and a gentle pace for myself, because as a boss lady who's always a workaholic, yes, self-proclaimed, that is me, it's hard for me to ever take time off when I have so much creative juice flowing around in my head. So this now brings us to the next part of our work here together today. I'd like to talk to you about a couple of different essential oils that I've been using lately and highlight them to you as to why I've been using them. So they are in combination too together. I've put these two together. I'm using Magnolia and I'm using Rose. And for those of you listening to this as a podcast, I'm using them in rollerball form, which means that they are in a cylinder container. And when you take the top off, there is a steel roller ball that you can then put on your body, rolling it along, and then that disperses the oil onto your skin. And you can massage it in, and it's just a beautiful way to receive the benefits of the oils. So the reason I'm using these two in connection with each other is for a spiritual purpose. So Magnolia actually is the oil of deep relaxation. It has something called linalool in it, which also lavender has linalool in it. And lavender is known as a very relaxing oil. For many of us, it is a relaxant so that we can use it at bedtime to help us fall asleep or have more restful sleep. For a few people in our sphere of influence here, linalool and inside lavender is a stimulant, and it helps you to feel like you have a lot of energy. So you don't want to actually use lavender at bedtime if that is for you. But anyway, Magnolia is an oil that has 7 times more linalool than lavender. So when you're under stress, or you have high anxiety, or your mind is always racing, or you have incredibly long days where you're working and you just are going from one thing to the next, you want to be using Magnolia. You want to be rubbing it on your pulse points like I just did on your neck. You can also rub it onto the pulse points of your wrists, rubbing them together. You can put it on the back of your neck. Sometimes that's nice to do as a little bit of support for your brainstem. And also on the bottoms of our feet. Our pores of our feet are the largest pores on our body. So when we're absorbing the quality of the oils, we bring them in through the bottoms of our feet, and it helps to absorb them faster. Although with Magnolia, it smells really good, and we don't want to ever mask the smell of it. It has a sweet floral scent to it. And then I'm also using rose. Rose is a very high vibe oil. It is supercharged for spiritual connection and for creative connection and for loving kindness connection. It's a supporter of our spirit when we are feeling a little bit like we are in need of connection with our spiritual centeredness, when we feel like we want to enter into a sacred space for our meditation, when we want to enter into more of a high vibe connection space with any of the divine entities that work with us, God source or angels or spirit guides, whatever you want to call them. Rose is a great oil to use in that capacity. This is an incredible oil because it comes from Bulgaria, and about 50 to 75,000 rose petals. Yes, I just said that. 50 to 75,000 rose petals go into making one vial of rose. And this is a 10 milliliter roll-on bottle. So it's really, really labor intensive and consuming to make. And so we treat this with ultimate respect. From a medical standpoint, rose is one of the most potent antiviral, antibacterials that you can use. So when my child is having a cough, or when my family is starting to get the yucky bug kind of germs, I bust out the rose and I add it to all of our antibacterial, antiviral stuff that we're using as protocol. You can do what I'm doing now, roll it across your sinuses if you have a cold or if you have any stuffiness. It's also great for the skin. Rose is a fabulous toner, and it helps to reduce blemishes and it evens skin tone, and it provides you with more of a robust, plump skin atmosphere. So it does double duty for you. And it also is supportive of your respiratory tract and your immune system. So rolling it along the back of your spine, it's hard for you to do for yourself. So you might want to just have somebody else roll it down for you. I do it for my son's spine all the time, just two little like tracks along his spine on each side. And then also putting it on the bottoms of your feet when you feel like you're getting maybe a tickle in the back of your throat, or you're trying to get rid of a cold that's been with you for a while, and some of your other protocols are just sort of needing a boost to amp you up. So anyway, I'm finding that these two are really powerful for me right now because the energy of the universe, like the Council of Light have mentioned, is really intense, and I am feeling it big time. I was talking to one of my business leader colleagues and who does the doTERRA essential oil work with me yesterday. We were both discussing how we just could not make ends meet yesterday. We couldn't get off the couch. We couldn't get out of bed. We couldn't get projects started or finished or completed. I have the luxurious opportunity this weekend. It's a holiday weekend where I live, so we have 3 days in a row, and I am not seeing clients or teaching classes, so I have the opportunity to do an incredible amount of systemic big picture work in my business, and I'm really eager to do that. And yet yesterday I was going around in circles. I just could not get anything done. So instead of beating myself up and feeling negative and feeling sad about it, I just recognized the energy of today is off, and I'm going to use my oils of very high vibration, and I'm going to use my oils of relaxation and de-stressing to help support me as I just float as best I can through my day. And so that's what I did. And today is a little easier for me. Even though this is the supermoon and the lunar eclipse day, today feels a little bit better. I am being much more productive today than I was yesterday for whatever reason. So if you don't already have these oils in your mix, you're going to want to think about adding them. The Magnolia is great for people to use in a sleeping capacity at night. If you're looking for more restful sleep, you can roll it on the bottoms of your feet, and you can roll it on your pulse points. And if you're looking for high vibration connection, use the rose. in any kind of spiritual capacity. It's just such a loving oil, and it smells so divine. Rose oil is not a sweet oil. It is floral and it is musky, but it is not an overly bearing sweet floral scent, particularly with this rose that comes from Bulgaria. This is the reason it comes from Bulgaria, actually, is because it's the place in the earth where the constituents of the oil are the most highly concentrated, and it is more potent there than anywhere else in the world. So that's why we get it from there. Okay, so thank you for the portion of our oil education for today. I'm glad to have been able to share that with you. And now I want to share something about some of the business work that happens in my realm and my sphere. It is still the beginning of the new year here in my realm, and I'm thinking a lot about systems and new routines, and I'm thinking a lot about organization and looking at restructuring. So my advice to you now is this is an opportunity to pause. Yes, January is considered a month to make goals. It's considered a month to go big and make declarations and say, this next year is going to be amazing. And if you haven't done that already, that's a good thing. And here's why. You need to be able to take some time to ground and get clear and focus and interpret what was last year like for me. Reflect for yourself. Give yourself the opportunity to rest in a space of knowing the big picture of all of last year. Do an exercise for yourself and write down some of the things that you feel that were important for you last year. What was last year encapsulating for you? What did you take away from last year? What, if you had a few words to describe last year for you, did you have change? Were you in the midst of turmoil? Was it a year of hardship? Was it a year of blessing? Was it a year of co-creation? Did you have abundance flowing through your life? What was it about last year that you can sum up in a few phrases? And then think about what you would like to do this year moving forward, not necessarily coming right out of the starting gates now, here in this moment, and launching off into oblivion, but in general, for the next several months to maybe the whole year. Maybe you have a focus that takes you all the year through, I don't know. But think for yourself about what it is you would like to start shifting into and focusing on. Do you want to continue more of the good work that you were doing last year? And riding that wave? Do you want to come into a new sense of centeredness for yourself? Do you want to come into a new sense of balance and alignment for yourself? If you want things to shift and change, what is it that you need to start thinking about shifting and changing to do that? Do you need a new planner, physically, an item that helps you get organized? Do you need new systems and routines around how you do self-care? Do you need to pick up a practice for yourself like yoga or Tai Chi or meditation or prayer? Do you need to be involved in a community socially more? Think about the kinds of things you would like for yourself and bring them forward. I know for my essential oil team that I work with, I work with about a dozen different business leaders. They're all wellness advocates under me, and we have co-created a beautiful team environment. They're all holistic healing practitioners in their own right. And we did a systemic amount of work last year together as we were a new team, and we launched ourselves into the world of essential oils in a big way. And now we're taking this as an opportunity to pause and to reflect and say, here's a great opportunity to move forward in this second year with the already established wellness routines and health of our business thriving. We have all of these great systemic platforms that have been put in place, and now what can be focused on more deeply? What direction do we want to go in as an organization? What do we want to work on together in co-creation of? Do we want to do more education? Do we want to do more self-care? Do we want to do more socializing as a team? So we're having those conversations now, and we're loosely mapping out over the next 6 to 12 months the kinds of things we'd like to incorporate into the already established routines that we have. So if you're somebody who is an independent person in your work and you are looking at developing new routines for yourselves, it might be helpful for you to bounce your ideas off of a colleague or a coworker. Certainly not to self-promote my own work, but I offer things called spiritual counseling sessions where the Council of Light come and they talk to you about the questions you have, and we flush out on an intuitive and metaphysical psychic level for you the kinds of things that you're going through in your work and the way you would like to have that change or shift. So you could certainly bring this kind of process to a session like that with me, and I would be happy to hold that work with you. I do that all the time with my clients and a lot with my business leaders in the doTERRA organization that I work for. And it's so rewarding and so fun for us to see these weavings and connections of, here's where I am, here are the questions I have, and here are some suggestions from the spiritual realm as answers to support me in moving forward. It's not an end-all be-all. It's not always taken as the absolute truth for everything, so take it with a grain of salt. You are the co-creator of your life. You are in charge, and you call the shots. So know that for yourself, you're the ultimate designer of your lives, right? If you're always thinking about being stuck, or if you're always thinking about being stressed, or you're always thinking about being tired, or you're always thinking about being overworked, or you're always thinking about being not connected enough in your environment with your energy and your work and your socialization, you have the capacity to change that. Nobody else can do that for you, right? You're the co-creator of your own life. You are the manifester of everything that happens for you. So this is a great time to start reflecting. What is it that I need to shift? What is it I need to keep? What is it I need to grow into? What is it I need to change? And begin to think about making tiny micro actions to start changing that for yourself, or shifting that for yourself. Or if things are moving in a direction that are already positive and healthy and well, flowing more deeply in that abundance, in that flow, in that grace, in that space of openness. The other thing that I suggest that you start to do now in this energy of the new year is to start to look for people in your environment, whether they're personal or professional or inspirational or spiritual. Maybe it's a colleague, maybe it's a guide, maybe it's someone who you admire in the public sector who's a public figure. But look for the inspirational people that feel very high vibrational to you and have them rest in your energy field. You don't even have to know them on a personal level. You could just have met them or not met them, as the case may be, but you could read their blogs or watch their videos or read their book, if they wrote a book, or listen to their music, and take that and be consumed by that, be all in with that, be absorbed by that, so that you can feel their high vibration and their ultimate connection with themselves. And you then begin to take on that energy and be immersed in that persona. So think about who those kinds of people are for yourselves. I certainly have those as mentors in my life, and I certainly am talking about that with a lot of the women on my team who are supporting themselves and aligning themselves in powerful ways to go big in their own work with their holistic healing careers. It's important to have a cheering squad, even if the cheering squad is not somebody or people that know you personally. Start there, right? And get creative and go into the flow of openness and the flow of yes, in whatever ways it may be. So that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for being with us during this spiritual wellness hour. It's not quite a full hour. Sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't. In the coming weeks, I'm going to be bringing on some guests that are going to share in some of the work that I do with my essential oils. And we're going to talk more deeply about that. And we're going to do some exercises and work around some psychic and spiritual development. So I encourage you to check out the work that I have on my website. I have an extensive blog going back a decade. My website is divinelotushealing.com. Please book a session with me if you're in need of support. Please take a class with me and if you're in need of some learning. And also be sure to check out all the people that I'm connected to there through the work that I do with essential oils. There are some really amazing women that are doing this work as well in their own capacity. So thank you for being on the journey, and I will see you again next week. Namaste.